Hi, and welcome to Cape Conversations. I am so thrilled today to be in the Cotuit Center for the Arts, just in the next town over from Sandwich, Cotuit. It is a wonderful, wonderful place, and we're going to talk to two really terrific people. So come along, join me for a Cape Conversation. Hi, everybody. Here I am today with my new friend, who isn't really that new, are you?
Not that new.
No, not that new.
They're pretty new.
Pretty new. David Keene, and you are what?
I am the Executive Director of Cotuit Center for the Arts.
And where would that be located?
That would be located in the village of Cotuit.
No way.
Yes.
Hence the name.
Yes, and we're next to the low gas station. That is the landmark that actually we have to identify ourselves by.
Well, maybe someday the low gas station will identify itself with Cotuit Center for the Arts. Maybe that would be a striving thing.
Yes.
So now, David, tell me all about yourself.
About myself?
Yeah, where'd you come from?
Well, I grew up in the Midwest in Indiana. I was raised on a farm.
Oh, yeah? Where in Indiana?
And near Evansville, which is on the Ohio River, on the border of Kentucky.
I'm an Ohio girl, so I know all about that.
Yeah, that farm background. But I always knew that, unlike my sisters or cousins, that I never felt that it's somewhere that I was going to stay. Yes. And when I was in high school, I excelled in music, and I wasn't very athletic in school. But the more I excelled at music, the more extracurricular productions I could be involved in. It would take away from the time that I had to work on the farm.
Okay. So that took away from putting up hay and all that?
It wasn't so much hay. It took away from having to feed hogs and cattle and really work-intensive labor. Just wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
And so when I was in college, I actually had a scholarship to go to UCLA and study with Joanna Harris, and that got me to California. And one look at the Pacific Ocean, and that was it.
You went,
it was like,
whoa, let's see. Indiana cornfields, California, Pacific Ocean. How fabulous. Good for you.
And I loved it.
What did you study now?
Piano. Yeah, I was a piano major there. And it was in the early 80s, and there was a really great music and art scene in Los Angeles at the time. They were building the new Modern Art Museum. And I was exposed to, through the music, a lot of also painters. We did a fair amount of musical performances with the group that I was in that were in the circles of Philip Glass and Steve Reich and John Adams. And then there was a patron, a really big, important patron in Beverly Hills who actually is the subject of one of David Hockney's paintings.
Is that right?
And we used to do a lot of musical performances there, and Keith Haring was in the scene, and a lot of those early 80s artists. It was really great.
Well, okay, so that's the 80s. How in the heck did you end up on the other coast, on this little spit of land that sticks out into the Atlantic?
Well, I like to say that I had the accidental career in the music business. While I was doing all of those really great creative things, I had no money. And
Darn.
So, that little thing. And I paid my rent by working as a clerk at the Tower Records store on Sunset Boulevard in the classical shop. And
you didn't do any, come down the steps there or anything like Get My Shot, Mr. DeMille, or any of those? No, you didn't see any ghosts or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Yeah. But I met a lot of people who worked in the industry, and one thing led to another, and I was a regional manager for the classical division of the Warner Classical Group, and then had a job offer to go to New York to run the classical division of the Warner Music Group in New York. So that's what got me to the East Coast. My partner had a career in the costume business in television and film in Los Angeles, and was kind of disenfranchised with how he really grew up with the Donnie and Marie show and Carol Burnett show, and where you really built creative clothes for television. Right. And it had evolved into going to Nordstrom's and buying jeans and shirts and spending really long hours on the set, and it just wasn't fun or creative. So he was looking for a change too. A mutual friend of ours is from the Boston area, and her family had a house on Lewis Bay. So the first time we ever came to the Cape was on a Thanksgiving to visit them, and like so many people, we fell in love with it.
Oh, that's
And when the offer to go east happened, that's how we really got to the Cape. So we bought a little place, and Alan went into business with his friend Tony. They actually worked as chefs on the Cape Cod dinner train.
Is that right? No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
How long did he do that?
2 years.
2 years,
2
yeah.
years. And then came to New York with our dogs and worked as a graphic designer, which is what he still
He's
does
doing
now.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that got you here, and now you're here at the
Now I'm
Cotuit
here,
Center.
yeah.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since the end of March, and I feel honored to be at the helm of this ship for this current period in time. I try never to lose sight of the feeling that I had the first day I came here, and I hear it every day from people who I spent years driving back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, I don't remember what exactly it was that I came in for. It might have been Porgy and Bess the first time. And when I pulled into the driveway and drove by the building, I couldn't believe it was back here because you can't see it from the road.
Right.
And then I walked in the doors and came into this perfect little gallery. It's a really perfect space for an art exhibition. And then the theater, as you know, is just really malleable and,
Right.
and wonderful. And it's the first time that I've been so heavily involved in the community aspect of community culture. And it's unbelievable rewarding. It's amazing, especially with the theatrical productions. People volunteer their time and give up 6, 8, 10 weeks of 2, 3, 4 nights a week to participate in these shows.
And they don't get any money for it.
They don't get any money.
It's an
It's-
avocation.
It is.
It's for the love of. And you know, I used to, sometimes people used to say to me, oh, community theater. You know, it's the lawyer, the dentist, and they get up on stage, and, you know, it's just, you know, fair to middling, as they used to say in the Midwest, type of a performance. And to me, I think whatever the performance is, and there are good ones and there are bad ones, we've all been there and seen those, to think that people will actually get up and put themselves out there like that, not on a regular basis, not for money, just for the love of it, for the fun of it, for the feeling of gratification by making an audience cry, laugh, clap, whatever, to bring it home to them, whatever work it is they're doing. It's really an amazing thing to
It's
me.
an amazing thing, and even the people who aren't on the stage, but you know,
Right, the
who
people
are
backstage,
who are
right.
backstage, and the stage managers, and
Right.
and the people who come in to build the sets, and you're right, and I thought a lot about too the variety of the kinds of people that have a platform for expression. So you have people of all ages, and some who it's so meaningful and may not, you know, maybe it's not the best, you know, actor or singer or whatever,
Right.
and then you have often young people who being in productions of community theater may be a launching pad to a career in some art form.
Well, and you said it yourself. You were into athletics, and you grew up certainly in a place where they play Friday Night Light football and all of those things. And basketball there's a basketball hoop on every
Yeah,
single barn. And yet, it was the music that really propelled you forward, that got you to college, that got you to go to the West Coast. I mean, so you're right. It's amazing to me, and for me to come to this particular place, I am surprised that not every high school student at Barnstable High School is not a member here
Yeah.
as a student member, because they could learn so much and have so much hands-on experience.
And it's also an incredible place when they graduate from high school. I
Right.
mean, you know, Barnstable High School has such an incredible theater and a
Oh, yes,
great
they do.
program.
Yeah.
And then kids graduate,
And then they're done.
and there's this wonderful place to, you know, kind of straddle from one to the next,
Right, right.
which I hope we can continue to
That's great.
pursue.
So
But
now tell me, oh, go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
also wanted to mention, and we're talking about that community aspect. I'm sitting here looking across the wall at this art exhibit that we have now, which is called Hope.
Yeah.
And it was a call to action to the community. This is an example of an exhibition where anyone can submit anything that represents hope to them. And that's another way that the community aspect of the center is always active, where we can have these great shows that aren't just one club or one person's
Sure.
work, but really, you know, have an outlet for visual artists as well.
That's
it's very
great.
important.
Oh, it is very important. And now, I know that you had a big meeting last night, and it was also in conjunction with every third Wednesday, there's an event here. Is that correct?
The third Wednesday of every month, we have something called Wine and Music Wednesdays. And there is Grape and Vine, which is a really fantastic wine shop in Hyannis, come and they have 4 new wines each month that they pour. And the wines, it's a $5 charge to get in, and then all the wine you can drink for an hour and a half. And,
Oh,
and
watch out.
I know.
You have lines out the door.
Yes. And there is a different live musical act each month, and we try to vary that. And it's really a great socializing event, and to look at the art on the walls and catch up with people and some nice food, and it's a great event.
So last night you had that event, but you also had your annual meeting.
Yes.
Great. And I understand that you made some really big announcements.
We made some huge announcements. We have, for the first time ever, we announced 18 months of programming.
Wow.
So the theatrical productions we have scheduled 18 months in advance. We gave people a programming brochure that has, we're basically taking our music and special events and trying to consolidate most of them into September and March. And I list.
So that would be like concerts, because I know
Concerts.
you had who did you have here last weekend?
Last weekend we had the James Montgomery Blues Band and
And?
a special American Idol guest, Siobhan Magnus.
Wow,
was here.
wow.
That was
That must have been
fantastic.
crazy.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was really incredible.
So that's the kind of music things, all different kinds of music you'll put
We're
in those 2
doing
months.
classical series. We're doing
Wow.
cabaret with people like
Great.
Teddy Marsh. We'll have Bart Weissman here and his klezmer swing band. We're doing some collaborations with the Cape Cod Conservatory. We'll have a Groovy Afternoon, which is a fantastic 70 covers band. But we really try to cover as many genres of music as we possibly can. And the reason we concentrated them is when we're running a theatrical production and rehearsing it and getting ready to mount it, it's really difficult to switch out the theater and do a proper job for music. So we designated everything into, my producing artistic director, who you know, Daniel Fontenot.
Yeah.
Who,
I love Daniel.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and he's done an incredible job
Yeah.
in all of the programming.
Right.
And early on he said, please tell me you're not going to just come to me every week like you have since you've been here and say, oh, by the way, next week we're going to do this. And, oh, by the way, let's do that.
Right.
So we really have spent a lot of thought and energy into the programming, and it's very exciting.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
we
great.
also have every other Monday a songwriter performance series in the art studio behind us.
Oh, great.
And we'll be doing experimental theater in the 25-seat Vitello house.
Right. I have a funny story about the Vitello house. You had told me, what did you did, it was
Ghosts.
Ghosts last year, right? And it was during the summer, and you mentioned to me about a couple that had come from Southport and had no idea what they were coming to. Well, it turns out I know the couple.
Oh,
And she said, oh my gosh, we went to the Cotuit Center for the Arts for the first time. And we just decided to go, and we thought it sounded kind of interesting. They had seen something in the Cape Cod Times, I'm sure. And so they came, and they were absolutely blown away. And she said, I spoke to somebody afterwards. I don't know who I think must have been you or somebody.
probably, yeah.
About it. And she said, she goes, I know that everybody looked at us because I think Peter was a big head honcho here on the Cape and did a lot of things, was selectman in Mashpee, and she worked for New Seabury and ran all their, a lot of their condo properties, all the property management. So she had big jobs and whatever, and she ran Great Island out in, in Yarmouth for Buff Chase. And what's interesting is she said they've been all over the world, and she said, I never had that kind of such a close experience. She said it was the most wonderful thing she'd ever done. And she said it was kind of a funky play. She goes, I'm not real familiar with those kinds of plays. But she said they had the best time, and they're looking forward to next year. But I know you had said everybody was kind of shocked. And they're certainly not. They're not elderly. They're just an older couple. And because I never think of anybody as being elderly.
Right. Me neither.
No. So, and I keep saying that to myself over and over. Anyway, I digress. she was just so excited about it, and I thought, isn't that what this is all about? Isn't
I
that
learned
what
I
a
learned a
community
lot
center?
last summer through that, because I often was at the box office when people came in to get their tickets, and you typecast people and you judge people by
Right, well.
what they look like when they come in, and night after night there would be groups of 4 and 6 people, and I would have to keep myself from saying, are you sure? And are you sure you don't want to see the bleacher bums in the big theater?
Yeah,
that
right.
it's going to be a little hot, and you're 25 people in a room, and it's a very, very serious play, and odd. And every single time at intermission, where what happened at intermission was the 4 actors continued to be in character and sat in another room.
Right, they go to dinner.
They
or
go to
something.
dinner,
Right.
yes.
She was telling me about that.
And then
Yeah.
we sold concessions, and people walked outside, and they walked upstairs and did all of that stuff. And every night, these people who I just thought, I better be prepared to give them something, or give them tickets to another show. They loved it because they loved the intimacy of it.
Yeah,
Like you said,
yeah.
it was unusual. It's something that over and over people said, I've never experienced anything like that.
Right.
And that's what's another great thing about the center, is that we have enough areas and spaces that we can do the things that are known audience pleasers,
Sure.
and that we should be doing. But we also have a responsibility to push people's ideas of what we should be and can be doing here.
Well, that's the good part about the arts. The good part about the arts is not only visual, but also and the performing arts, is that you can stretch people. You can stretch how they think. You can stretch their notions of the world. You can say that I'm not going to go across the bridge the entire year, and yet you can come here and you can look at this fabulous artwork, or you can hear some music, some jazz, maybe you haven't heard before, or a classical piece. Or you can come and see Camelot, which you put up this past summer. You have such a variety, and because of the type of place it is, you can do that.
Yeah.
And that's just, to me, that's just amazing, just
Yeah.
totally amazing.
Yeah.
Totally amazing.
Yeah, me too.
So tell me, if I just landed here from another planet, which sometimes people think I have, how can I be involved? I mean, there are going to be people that watch this show and they'll go, oh, Cotuit Center for the Arts. It's only for people who live in Cotuit, which we hear a lot, But it's not, is it?
No,
There's no electric fence or anything at the
No
border?
electric fence, and I really think that all of these arts organizations are so unique and have a lot to offer to the public. And rather than having a competing nature, we need to have a collaborative nature, and we are not that difficult to get to. If I live in Yarmouthport, and I just
You commute.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Exit 5 and 149. Even in the summer, there's no traffic.
Right.
It's a place. I like to think of it more as a mid and upper Cape resource is what we have here. And in terms of being involved, it's really important that the community understand that the health of the organization depends on the community. We could sell out every single show and not keep the lights on.
Right.
And it's not because that we have a huge staff. We don't. There are only myself and 2 other full-time employees. That's it. But membership is really what we depend on. It's an affordable way for people to be engaged in the center, and we just, as you know, announced a new membership program last night, where little things that we're doing to show members how much we need them and appreciate them.
I like the private tent.
Yeah.
That only members get to go into.
Yeah.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I'll be in that tent.
Yeah, and then we'll have a members area for all of our productions, where if you show your membership card, you get a free glass of wine at intermission during plays.
What's the dinner thing, though? That was really cool, though.
Well, what we're working on an initiative where we have a group of restaurants who support the arts. And in exchange for being supporters of Cotuit Center for the Arts, if you have your membership card with these participating restaurants, you get a discount at the restaurants, and then we will promote them as partners through
Excellent.
all of our program ads and on our website, and we encourage people to dine and support local businesses before the show and then come to the show. So that's an
Wonderful.
exciting, yeah.
That's really terrific.
Yeah.
And you get discounts for tickets and you get
Well,
announcements.
they're 25% discount to tickets,
Wow.
which is, it's a meaty discount.
Right, right.
In our educational classes, there's a 25% discount. So,
Terrific.
yeah, it's
Excellent.
great.
Good.
Yeah.
So, David, I just want to tell you, thank you for letting us be here today.
Well,
is
it's my
so
pleasure.
good.
I'm glad you were here.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful place, and I'm going to admit it, I've got to say it, I'm married, you're married, I've got a girl crush on you, and I'll tell you why. It's because you are so inclusive about the arts. I've been around a long time. Ugh. I didn't want to say that, how long I've been around, too long, for some folks. And I've done a lot of theater things and been involved with a lot of organizations. And I always hated cultural elitism because in other countries, and I've got to travel a little bit here and there, culture is, everybody has it. Every school kid has it. Doesn't matter if you're the lowest of the low or the highest of the high. Everybody gets involved. Everybody gets to listen to great music. Everybody, they have inexpensive tickets for things. They encourage it. And sometimes in this world, this country, we don't do that as much. You bring to me that inclusiveness that you need. And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
I really do. So you better just keep doing a good job.
I will. I promise.
All right.
I pledge.
Okay. And so, for anybody who wants to know, just go past Low Gas on Route 28 in Cotuit.
In Cotuit. And for any information, artsonthecape.com. Arts, A-R-T-S.
Artsonthecape.com. All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thanks a lot.
So much. Mwah! Hello.
Hello, Melinda.
How are you?
I'm well. How are
I'm
you?
with Christine Rathbun, actress, artist, poet,
Good cook.
good cook. Yeah, I can attest to that. And mom. Wow.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, so you multitask
Oh, absolutely.
every day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Some tasks much better than others. But.
Yeah, yeah. Now tell me, you've got 2 daughters?
2 daughters. Marnie is 15, almost 16, and Julia will be 2 on January 2nd.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Now there's an age difference, although you have a built-in babysitter, so that works.
Marnie, yep.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful, wonderful big sister.
Is she?
She's the best big sister, yeah.
That's great. That's good.
Julia
That's
loves
good.
her.
So tell me, Christine, how long have you lived on the Cape?
Since 1989. I
Wow.
think I met you in 1990.
Yeah, I
or
think so.
thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you live in
I live in Forestdale.
Forestdale,
Been in Sandwich
Sandwich?
the whole time.
Yeah.
Used to be in the village, which I miss, and now we're in Forestdale, up near the lake, so that's nice too.
Oh, that would be very
My
nice.
folks live 2 doors away, which
Oh, that's nice. That's excellent.
some days.
Yeah. Well,
It's great.
since
Actually, it's
I'm
fine. I
at
make a joke.
I'm the parents' end of things now. I'm sure my kids would say the same thing. So, anyway, so you do a lot of things. You are such an artistic person in kind of all aspects of your life.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Well, I'm not being, I'm not nice. So I'm being truthful. But you have written a one-woman show.
I've written 3.
Oh,
one-woman
see,
shows.
where have I been? Okay. And-
I wrote one, the first one was called Reconstruction, or How I Learned to Pay Attention.
And that was about your breast cancer?
breast cancer
Right.
almost 10 years ago. I'll be 10 years out on March 2nd, 2011.
Excellent. And you're in good health?
Excellent health.
Excellent. Yeah, good,
And,
good.
So, Marnie and I, Marnie is part of that play. She's essentially the stage manager, and she and I have performed it over 40 times all over New England.
Wow,
which
that's
is pretty
great.
cool.
Now, did you take it to New York?
We took it to upstate New York, to
Upstate
Hamilton
New York.
College.
Okay,
As
all
part
right.
of a cultural series that they do every year.
Wonderful.
Culture and social justice. I don't know how breast cancer
Yikes.
fit into that, but it was pretty neat to be up there.
Well, there's some social justice to that. I mean, I suppose fair practices and monies for research and all that kind of stuff.
think it
I'm
was a
sure there
good
must be.
fit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so
so.
that's great. And so tell me, and the other,
The second one was called Giant Women.
yeah,
which
about?
was, sort of the continuation of the story. My work is, most of my poetry is autobiographical. These three plays, the last one was called Another Woman.
Another woman. Well,
Another
either are
Woman.
you another woman or are you the other woman?
That's a question. You have to come and see it.
Ah,
Little of both.
Yeah?
At times in my life. but I write only autobiographical monologue. It's I think it's entertaining. It's funny. I'm a good performer, and it's the only time when I'm performing my work like that. It's the only time that I feel like I'm not screwing up. That this is it.
So you don't feel guilty about it?
I don't feel guilty, but I also don't feel like, oh, like right task, right place, right material. This is what I'm gifted to do, and this is what not that if only one person ever in the house is affected by my work and enjoys it and takes something good away from it, then I've done a good job. But for me, it's the one time in my life when I feel like I'm perfectly at home and I'm not fretting, and I feel like I'm not missing something, or I'm not screwing up, or I'm not letting someone down, or I think we're all driven by tremendous guilt.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't you think that women, whether you're an artist or not an artist, that we are all kind of dancing as fast as we can through life?
Oh, necessarily. For an artist, necessarily. I think guilt has to be the engine. You always have to. You want to one up yourself. You want to do your next best. And if you don't feel guilty, you're not driven. At least that's how I work.
Oh my gosh, you would think I would be a wonderful artist.
You are, but that's
I'm guilty all
you're
the
always
time.
you're trying to be better than you were last time. And
That's
if you had a success, well, goddamn, what if that's my only success?
Sure.
There must be more successes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, I guess we all have to probably get over that as well. That's somewhat. You don't think so?
I think we're hardwired that way, and I think
Yeah.
it's necessary.
You think women more so than men?
Much more so. Much
Really?
more so.
Yeah.
My mother's 75, and she sits in a diet group every week with her Weight Watchers cronies, and they're all 75, 78, 80,
Yep.
and they sit around for an hour once a week and talk about how they can shave calories and how they can have a bigger portion if they take these calories out, or if they add NutraSweet. It's crazy. These women who have lived these big, rich, full lives, and they're fretting over 5 pounds or 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Or it's fascinating. But
Well, I think it's too, we all want to live longer, and there's so much out there about how you have to do this, and your BMI, and your QRC, and your TXF, and whatever these numbers are and these letters mean. I think it's kind of gotten to us.
Yeah, but I think guilt is a different animal altogether. I think
Yeah.
guilt is, for me, it's the constant engine underneath it all. And it's a tricky balance to keep at the right size.
Well, so you mentioned your poetry. Have you compiled selections of Chris Rathbun poetry yet, or are they performance art pieces primarily?
The biggest challenge for me is to have it be as alive on the page as it is when it's spoken. And it's interesting. I've only heard my work spoken by other people on occasion, and that's unsettling.
You don't like it?
It makes me nervous that someone else is reading my work, and that I'm not in control of it, which is control and guilt.
Control.
Those are linked.
Control, that's a big one.
But
we could do a whole thing on control.
Oh,
I
you
think.
could.
Yeah.
The relinquishment of it.
Yeah,
every
that's
day.
true.
What was I saying?
Oh, you were saying about your poetry,
My
though,
poetry.
having somebody else.
It's something that I'm always working on the next piece, hearing the next piece in my head, hearing how it will be spoken, and it's funny as a playwright and as a poet. I mean, you want your work to be public,
Right.
and I have to let it go. I look forward to hearing other people speak it and other people perform it.
Well, now, we're sitting here. This is the theater for Cotuit Center for the Arts. It's a pretty cool place.
Very cool place.
Now, you've performed here, right?
I performed my very first show here in 2004, and I've been in several shows since.
Yeah.
My
You remember what the first show was?
Ideal Husband.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
And my husband Michael has been in several shows here. My daughter Marnie and Michael were just in
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon,
Yeah.
which was wonderful. And
Yeah.
we hope that Julia will be trotting the boards.
boards.
She's built for it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I've met her, and she does have a big personality.
She's dramatic.
Yes.
She's very dramatic.
So,
Big
especially
girl.
when she doesn't get a popsicle or whatever she wanted. Yeah, she was, she's good at that. So
is.
there's
She
that
knows what she
control
wants.
thing.
That's
That's
what she
true.
wants,
Control.
yeah.
It's
And
all
she-
about the control.
And there's that guilt that moms always feel.
That's
You
true.
have
That's
a
true.
boatload of it.
So you have performed here, and if you were going to tell people about this place, what would you tell them? Because I think this is a hidden gem that nobody knows about. And although you're a performer and an artist here, I don't think enough people know that they can come into this fabulous space and sit back and see not only quality theater and listen to great music, but just enjoy the whole atmosphere because it's so friendly. So
It is so friendly. It's a wonderful Oh, it's a wonderful venue. It's a beautiful gallery. It's a beautiful performing space. The acoustics in here, acoustic music. This is one of the best venues on Cape
Oh,
Cod
yeah.
for acoustic music, and for such fine theater and for the programming that they have planned for the upcoming year.
That's exciting, huh?
It's, as an actor and as an audience member, it's thrilling
Right.
to hear what's on the slate. Especially with the Black Box opportunity next door and the Art Barn. So much is happening here. It is a hidden gem, and I know there have been in the past. Well, they've been around for a while, but I feel like it's like this is really a rebirth for this center. That they've been through many phases, and this is the next new phase, and it's very exciting to be part of it again.
Well, yeah, because it started off in a little barn behind the
a
general store that burned
funky
down.
space,
Yeah.
but with great
Right.
soul and great
Yeah.
spirit, and then it became something different, altogether different.
Right.
And I think they lost some of that vision or some of that plan, and I haven't felt this excited to be in this building in a long, long time. And
Oh, that's great.
I remember when it was first getting built, I remember seeing it go up and thinking, oh God, please, let me be able to do my work there. Let this be my artistic home.
Right.
Because it's 10 minutes from my house. I've performed it.
Wait, you live in Sandwich and it's only 10 minutes away?
It is.
Well,
10 minutes
isn't that
away.
amazing?
8.5 minutes if I'm driving recklessly.
There. Well, I always laugh because people, in Sandwich either go across the bridge for things, whether it be a movie or shopping or whatever, or they go to Hyannis. They tend not to go this direction necessarily. So they would go up, it's Route 6 is their measurement of which
True.
direction they go.
So this is just at the end of 130, and it's right in between Mashpee and Hyannis. I mean,
Right,
it's
so
not-
it's a great, it is a great spot. And this hopefully, people will see this conversation in other areas of the Cape as well, and they'll say, hey, we want to take a look at it. I'm so surprised that it's a campus.
Oh, it's a big
Nobody-
campus.
and nobody-
They had a folk music festival here over the summer, which
I
is-
know, I just.
What? On 28 in Cotuit?
Right,
Where
just
is
past
that?
the Low Gas.
Yeah, low gas. That's which is our marker forever. Apparently, we'll have to co-opt that sign at some point. But or I'll write a play about it.
I think we should do
gas.
a play, a woman's play about guilt and low gas. And control issues. What do you think?
and foundation garments and
Well, I don't
nursing
know.
mothers.
No.
and-
I've got the corner on foundation garments.
No, you don't. You don't know foundation garments.
I know them. Trust me, I've tried them all. And you know what? Nothing will make you go from a larger size to a size 5. I don't care if it's Spanx, I don't care what it is. Nothing
Well,
will.
maybe not a 5.
No, but it won't even make you.
I can squeeze into an 8 on a good day with the
Well,
correct foundation garment.
yeah, but you can squeeze into an 8 because you probably are an 8.
No.
And you're tall. That's the other thing. See, I feel guilty that I'm short.
You feel guilty?
I feel
Oh,
guilty.
Melinda.
I do. And I can't control it. So there you go.
You can wear big shoes.
I used to do that, but then I'd fall off of them and I almost broke my ankle, so I stopped.
Yeah,
It's-
probably something you
it's-
should just cope with.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I was making my hair really tall, but
I remember that.
yes, it was a bad look,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
Hats?
Hats.
Turbans?
Turbans. That's it. I'll become a Sikh. I don't know whether Sikh women
You
wear
bring the
those,
turban
though.
back.
I
That'd be
could.
good.
Deanna Durbin Turban.
A new company.
That's true. We could start it out. Anyway,
You could
we're
sing
getting
and wear your
silly.
turban.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
We're
I
getting
could
loopy.
sing.
We're not
are
even
getting
drinking.
That's the problem, I think. Anyway, before we end this, though, are you performing anywhere now? Your
Not-
works? No.
Not right this minute. I'm being mostly a mommy and
Yeah.
writing in between her nap times.
Yeah.
If I can. I'm unemployed officially. I was laid off from my full-time job in Fall River.
Yikes.
Although I was working from home, which was
Yeah.
great. But
Now, you were editing though, weren't you?
I
or
was
not?
like a marketing manager for a book distributor.
Right, but then weren't you doing some editing
I
on
was doing
something?
a little editing, but that's
Like freelance, and that's dried up?
freelance, headed that way. It's too difficult to do with Julia underfoot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I'm still searching, but
The right
we're
thing.
in good shape right now.
That's good.
Yeah, it's neat to actually have some free time. I've never had it. Well, free time, that's a concept. But
Yeah.
I mean, time other than full-time working time.
Right,
Being
right.
being
Well, it's
Julia's
nice to be
mom
able to
full-time is
yeah, I was
really,
gonna say,
it's
that
such a
was-
short time. She'll be in
Yeah.
school within a year and a half, so.
Yeah,
So
and then you
it's
can get
pretty
back
neat.
to it again,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely, yeah, not necessarily, but.
Well, well, we all have to do that,
We're on
for
the
sure.
big old austerity plan right now, but everything's fine.
Yeah, well, that's good, that's good. And Michael, he's down at Woods Hole, and he's also a sculptor, right?
He's a sculptor, he has an MFA from UW, and he's a gifted genius sculptor, actually.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of building a studio
Wow.
in our yard, so he can have a really fine workspace.
Nice. Is it connected to the house?
It's going to be just apart from the house. He does a lot of work in stone, which is pretty noisy work,
Yep.
so probably good that it's not right up against the
Yeah.
baby's bedroom. Or,
Yeah, well, yeah.
So.
Although she learned to sleep through everything, so that would be
Yeah,
good.
she's pretty good at that. We have
Yeah.
a tiny house, and she slept through lots and lots of raucous dinner parties,
Is that right?
as you know.
Well, one or two perhaps. Anyway, well, and so, so you aren't doing anything, but you're going to probably be auditioning soon, I'm
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. There's wonderful stuff happening here.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for venues for my own work. I hope
Yeah.
to bring one or two of my one-woman shows to the Black Box here at
Oh,
Cotuit Center
great.
for the Arts, which is
I
I
want
think,
to
a
know
great
about, I
venue.
want to know more about this Another Woman.
Oh, Another Woman.
Yeah.
It's an hour of monologue.
Wow.
It's a lot of what we just talked about: guilt,
Yeah.
foundation garments, hair,
Yeah,
relationships,
Wonderful.
mothers. So
excellent. And we're both that, mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, different perspectives now.
You're a grandmother.
I'm a
Melinda.
grandmother.
Grandmother.
Yes, yes.
Do they call you sea hag like we joked?
No, sea hag or gucky? No, neither one of those terms. No, I'm known as Grammy.
My mother is Googie,
Oh, we'll see. I'm Grammy.
or the Googanator, as we call her in our house.
What's really funny, though, is that my father's mother was always called Grandmother Smith.
Grandmother
Smith, and she was a little slight lady. Her name was Catherine. And I always, kind of laugh about this because she was before the Little Bighorn. She was like 14 when the Little Bighorn took place. I mean, she was very
How old are you,
elderly.
Melinda?
I'm 122, but don't I look good? I think I look fabulous.
This is your grandmother?
Well, you have to understand, my father was 20 years older than my mother. That's another show in itself. My family history. I could do a whole thing on my family history.
That's right, you're the baby.
I'm the baby of 5. But what was interesting was always grandmother. Now, when my mom came along, she was grandma, but my kids always called her grandmother. And I don't know why. They always liked her. I mean, she always
Grandmother?
They always called her grandmother. It was very funny. And then she had 2 husbands, so that was very confusing. So she was kind of a wild and crazy lady. But I'm Grammy, and I enjoy that, being Grammy. And it's funny because I just went back to a high school reunion, and somebody said to me, well, you're a grandmother. I can't believe that. Certainly you don't want anybody to know that. And I went, well, why not? I think I've worked hard to get to be this age and still alive and in one piece.
Oh, shut up, and
You know?
vital, and
Yeah, I think
funny,
it's a good thing. So,
and
being a
hosting your own
grandma-
talk show on Cape Cod? What the
Well,
hell?
Cape Conversations is where it's at.
Absolutely.
I mean, where else would I want to be doing anything?
Well, let's do
you
this
know?
again, but with martinis.
Oh, I think that would be good. Perhaps you could show us how to make some good cosmos or
Oh,
something. I know you're very
absolutely.
good at
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
excellent.
have a good time.
All right, we're digressing terribly.
I know.
And we've got to move on. But you are so terrific, and good luck
Thank
in
you.
all your stuff. And
Thank
let's
you.
find a venue for you so I can come see you.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we'll
that would
have
be
it.
great.
We'll have it here,
And
for sure.
I hope I see you in one of the shows coming up here.
Me too.
You know,
Me
that would
too.
be
Some
great.
ones, great
Yeah,
ones.
there's
I
gonna
don't
be some
think
really
I
great
don't think there are
things.
any women in Glengarry Glen Ross.
No, there are.
Couldn't we do an all-women Glengarry Glen Ross?
Wouldn't that be
great?
interesting? Ooh.
You, me, and Annie Hart Cool.
Ooh, and we could be.
fight.
We could, and we would never kiss, so the men wouldn't come. It was just women in the thing. Anyway, that would be fun. That'd be great fun. So anyway.
Next season.
Next season. We'll give that a thought process. We'll do the alternative, to what this is. But anyway, thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Mwah. Good to see you. And my
see you, my
best to Michael, and give the babes a squeeze.
send
And
it to Joe
by the
for
way,
me.
Marnie, your daughter, was in Dark of the Moon, and she was absolutely sensational.
She really was.
Yeah, she was really a real presence on the stage.
And she wants to be a chemist.
Good for her. She wants a real job. She knows.
I know, she knows, I know,
99.9%
I know.
unemployment
Yeah,
for
I'm
actors.
not making any money with my monologue.
There you go.
A chemist, yeah, be a chemist.
Be a chemist, that's right. Anyway, thanks so much, and thanks for sharing this beautiful space with me. It's great.
Come to Cotuit Center for the Arts.
Excellent. That's a great thing.
Come and see us.
Thank you.
So much for joining me today on my Cape conversation at this beautiful spot, the Cotuit Center for the Arts. You know, everybody on Cape Cod occasionally says there's nothing to do. Oh, you go out to dinner, you do the same old thing every single weekend. Well, guess what? Just a few miles from where you live is a beautiful center that has wonderful performances, music from classical to jazz to folk and rock and roll, to wonderful performing arts of wonderful plays and poetry. They even have a chili fest, I think, in the wintertime. They have a great gallery, which we've seen today, and I'm standing in. So there's no more excuse, people. Let's get up off that couch. Let's go explore a little bit. Let's have a Cape conversation here at the Cotuit Center for the Arts. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time.